Should raise topic number one says, why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men? Why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men? This came with a link. This came with a link that takes us to Twitter. And it takes us to a short video, minute and a half video. But this is a tweet from Ryan Detto that says, former President Barack Obama has a quote-unquote tough talk at the Black Voters for Harris event in East Liberty. He addressed that black men have not been as enthused about Harris as during his first run, and he sought to encourage them to join Harris's movement. So we'll listen to the video, and then we'll discuss.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
So I'm going to play it again. Shout out to Provide Triggers and KW7 out there. KW7 says it's over for Harris. It'll be like 1988 when Dukakis got whipped. Provide Triggers says greetings, and then she says volume is relatively low. That's not on my end, my dear. That's Obama's not mic'd up. It's someone on their phone. So you're gonna have to turn up your volume just a tad. I have the volume up on the video all the way up. I'm gonna play it again just to make sure everyone gets the idea of what Obama was trying to say here.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Yeah, that's Obama with the scolding of black men. Let me see if there's more. It looks like there is more. So more of Obama's speech to black voters in Pittsburgh. It's wise to always let me know when you post these topics on the Discord. It's wise to let me know that there's a thread, that there's more. So let's let's listen to this second part. It's about 2 minutes. I might play it twice. We'll see. Let's listen.
You found out was just making stuff up. You'd at least give him a talking to. And you sure want to put him in charge of anything. So, you know, I didn't mean to get so serious. But when I hear about this stuff, I start feeling like we don't have enough of a sense of what's at stake here. These aren't ordinary times, and these are not ordinary elections. You lucky Michelle's not here. She really talking serious about this stuff. So, but here's the good news, right? The good news is that not only as Attorney General and as a senator and as a vice president and now as the nominee for the Democratic Party, Kamala has made us proud. She has been out there. If you doubt that, I hope y'all watched the debate because that wasn't close. That was like Mike Tyson. It was like, oh man, stop that now. So we know she can do the job, and she's got an outstanding partner in Tim Walz. And so we can take pride and feel good about the nominee. This isn't just a matter of
All right, more Obama trying to put on the charm. Let me double check to see if there's another part. No, there's a full story here. You guys can look that up yourselves. But this is Obama basically scolding black men
you found out what
vote for Kamala Harris, which is interesting. I'm gonna start off with Kofi. Kofi, what are your thoughts here? Why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men?
All right. Let me. You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me mention a disclaimer here before I give my take on it. I am not an Obama fan as far as him being extremely beneficial for black people. He walked the fence as far as his blackness and doing things for black people that he did, and I'm not in the camp of the things of small measures that he did as something significant. So I voted for him once, and before he was inaugurated, I regretted it, and I didn't vote for him the second time. So I'm not an Obama fan. So with that being said, I don't see, this is my first time, I've heard of this. This is my first time viewing it with you all. And what I've been getting from everybody is like he did a lot of finger waving and chastising and belittling. And that's not what I heard. That's not what I saw. The first time Obama chastised and belittled black men was the first year he was in office, and it was Father's Day. And he just attacked black men, saying that we need to do this as black men and black fathers. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was extremely pissed. Just because your father don't want shit to do with you or you got daddy problems, you're not going to put that on other black people. So to me, I was I was thinking it's something like along those lines, but I'm not seeing that. So I'm trying to, with having a black American ideology of Obama being black, right? I'm speaking towards that. There's a saying, am I my brother's keeper, right? And if black people in America mostly see Obama as black, and you have white people talking about black leaders and where's the black leaders? The black leaders don't do anything because they got broken homes, and where are the fathers? And where are the leaders? Leaders. Here we are a black quote unquote leader, he is simply saying appeasing to our humanity, appeasing to our humanity as black men, that in America that experience racism day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? Internally and externally, right? Say, hey, look, here are your choices, black men, to the black men that are Republicans, to the black, not all black men, the black men that are Republicans, right? He's talking to them, which is a very small demographic of people out of black men totally. Because we know Democrats, black people mostly vote Democrat. So he's talking about, because there's things buzzing around online that, there's a lot of black men that don't know the Republican Party, yada, yada, yada. He's talking to these black men. And he's trying to appeal to their blackness. Black men, why are you going to vote for Trump, who has a history of racism from then to now, from not renting buildings to black people, right? Sued for that. Got sued for that and lost for that, right? Has his nephew around that time, his nephew and his niece saying he used the N-word, right? To the Central Park Five that's been exonerated, that he still say they need to go to jail and the death penalty. To currently saying that that he's not gonna give a reparation. That's a Kamala Harris thing. To saying about Sandra Bland and giving police immunity, right? He's appealing to their like the hardship and the strides of white supremacy has, and you're gonna vote for that versus a person who is on the opposite of that line, of that spectrum, who suffered from busing, who went to black colleges, who, if you agree or not if she's black, was considered as a black person in white society. That's how white supremacy works. White supremacy don't divvy up black people like, well, you're Caribbean, you're American, you're Nigerian, you're Bayesian. Yeah. Oh, okay. And we all gonna treat y'all niggas the same. So he is saying to that, what is your alternative? You're voting for the collective, for the betterment of black people in this country, as far as how we're being treated. Why would you vote for someone who is telling you, it's not hyperbole. I'm not being hyperbolic or trying to twist on Trump's words. This is a man that's saying, hey, this is, he has Nick Fuentes to his house, and, Charlottesville, there's good people on both sides. And why would you vote for somebody like that? To me, that is a legitimate question. That's a question that I ask. I necessarily wouldn't see it as him like belittling black men. He wasn't screaming. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't using inflammatory words. I don't think he was. I didn't hear anything where he was insulting their intelligence. He was appealing to their experience as black Americans historically in this country. And why would you vote someone who is vehemently against your inalienable rights to just succeed and be as a black man? I mean, that's pretty much it for me. So I really didn't see it as him chastising black men. He's campaigning, and to me, he's just stating the obvious, right? And this is my first time in this particular conversation. For people, I'm pretty sure there's other groups and people having these conversations. My question to them is like, why would you be so offended with what he just said? And if you are offended, is what he's saying is wrong? Is what the man's saying wrong? Right? It also reminds me like, okay, he probably went in like Bill Cosby, with pull your pants up in the generation with the pants and the sagging and I thought it was something like that. Even though it's being done, Bill Cosby, he did it was being done in as far as him trying to be helpful. It was done. He was saying in good faith. But yeah, don't air out all our dirty laundry, on a public forum like that. Again, this was not that, in my view. This was not that. But I do understand people, me being one of those people, of him saying, oh, wow, why you gotta talk about black men like that? But again, it's a small segment of black men, and I don't see him throwing us under the bus like that. Just that particular segment. And that's pretty much it.
I appreciate that, Kofi. Just to add, some people did coined this little talk Obama did as Obama's pound cake speech too, by the way. With that said, let's welcome in our boy Jose this week. Jose, how are you this week?
I'm I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank
Good.
you for having me, and thank you for being there every week. This time it's not sleeplessness. I just went to bed way too early, and here I am awake.
Well, thanks for joining us. Shooter Reach Top number 1 says, why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men? Did you see the videos?
I've seen the videos, and
Yes, sir.
I do have an opinion. Yes, I do have one, and it's not on the politics and choosing one choosing a wing of the same bird. It's more like, and thanks for Kofi mentioning Cosby, and well, I have a different opinion about that Cosby event, and it's the same opinion that I have in this thing. I'm watching on Twitter. I'm watching all damn day men complaining about a half black man, or in America he's black, but okay. I see black men and women, but okay, that's not kind of special. Women complaining about black men, they have something to complain. But I see black men complaining, and the vibe that it gives me this time is like, look at me, not listening to this black man suggesting something, right? When with Obama, I was so irritated because for us, Cosby, for us, or for me, that is somewhat aware of what propaganda and imagery and image building does. For me, Cosby is an icon, an icon. His products. I bet there's Nigerian doctors in black neighborhoods, thanks to Dr. Huxtable and the image that he put out there, right? And then he in his latter years, he says, hey, black folks, we can do better. And what happened? Black folks complained as adult, as revolting um, adolescents against their daddy, and it just hits me in a certain way. So since that event, and shortly after, it was like giving the our enemies an okay to lynch him, because shortly after he went to jail for fucking hippies while black. I mean, 72, 1972, he fucked girls when he was stoned and kind of drunk in 72. Come on, let's be serious. But anyway, that same reaction, a black man asking us to do better. Okay, this Obama is kind of political, but not completely. If you listen to him, he also asks us to do better, right? So what's the problem with a black man, a father figure, or somebody that can represent a good image of black men, right? I don't care about politics, just the image of this man, right? In my eyes, he's the best president that the United States ever had. So no, not black folks. He is the CEO of the corporate called the United States of America. So he's gonna, when is he going to be good serving the United States as the president of the United States, or as black man, right? But okay, that aside, here's a black man, a good image, just like Cosby, good image should suggest that we can do better. And what do we do? 3 days, 24/7 on Twitter, and most probably on all the other social media outlets. Here we are showing the world that we're not going to listen to a black man. That's how it arrives on my lap, and it kind of. I hope this sigh says enough, and that's it for now. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Jose. Let's welcome
Can
in
I
our brother
respond to
Oni.
Jose? I'm sorry to cut off, but I just want to commend Jose on that. I love the
be
point
quick.
that he made. I just want to say I love the point he made about here we go again, not listening to another black man instead of just, taking what he's saying, like how dare he says that without exploring the content of what he's saying. Like I like how you put it that way, your own Jose. That's all I wanted to say.
Appreciate that, Kofi. Let's welcome in our brother Oni this week. Oni, how are you?
Peace. I'm cool. Tired, but cool. No, I'm not tired. I'm good.
Thanks for joining us. Did you see this video?
Yeah, I see it. I saw it. Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's obvious that Obama was paid to do it. I mean, I guess the let's say the enthusiasm for Harris has probably been mostly black women. Possibly, you have a division among white men, but maybe you don't see the enthusiasm. If you're polling, like it depends on who you're polling or how you're polling, but maybe you don't see that enthusiasm. Looks like they're in Pennsylvania. For like let's say black men just coming out, oh yeah, I want to support Harris. So, of course you roll out Obama, because that's what the Democratic Party does. I don't know if it's a winning strategy to roll out Obama in this capacity, but they probably said, they probably just, so Obama probably got a phone call and said, come out and get some black men to come out and support Harris. Now, obviously, I personally think that most black people are going to vote for Harris and Walz, because black people always do. But it depends on, again, Harris's media team probably sees it differently, and there was also, for Obama's case, when Harris was selected as the nominee, he was one of the high-ranking Democrats who thought, why didn't she go through? Why wasn't she voted? Why didn't we have a primary? So that might be an issue. Now, of course, I think he probably thought, why didn't she have a primary? Not so much because he didn't want her as a candidate, as much as he knew that might have long-term ramifications. But yeah, it just seems like maybe she's not polling well in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania being, I'm guessing, a swing state, right? And they just rolled out Obama to say, hey, try to get greater black male enthusiasm. Was this the effective method? Probably not. Obama seems like he wants to retire. And also, I mean, I didn't see this full thing. This is the first time I'm seeing this part. I saw another one where Obama was just talking like nonsense. And it might be that he's getting senile too. And we just kind of don't see it. So there's a lot of parts of the the government of America at this point might just be very, very old. And of course, Obama, used to be considered, that young guy, right? And we all saw him age rapidly in the presidency because he is, for lack of a better word, is probably a good president, right? But I think it's just obvious. They paid him, and they said try to get black voters out, try to get black people in Pennsylvania to come, to show their support so that she can win the electoral college here, and have a greater chance at winning the election. But as far as Obama's senility is concerned, the guy was like, "Hey, Trump is rambling and talking nonsense, and he's having 4-hour lectures, blah blah blah," and it comes off like Fidel Castro. And you're like, "What the fuck? like, what's Fidel Castro got to do with anything?" And none of us have conversations with Fidel Castro, and obviously Obama's presidency was harming Cuba, if nothing else. So it just seemed like a really bad take from this guy. But I mean, of course, that's me, being sympathetic to the left. But yeah, so I think it's just obvious, oh yeah, they paid him. So what else is he gonna do? He wants money, and and the Democrats probably feel a challenge in Pennsylvania. That's all.
Appreciate that, Oni. Let's welcome in our brother Anthony McPhail this week. Anthony, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for coming through.
Hey, what peace to all the brothers on the panel too, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What
are your thoughts, Anthony?
I'm gonna be honest, brother Koku. I didn't catch the whole thing because I was still trying to get situated, man. So I don't want to hold up the show, man. So I just lay low on this one, man. And pass the mic, man. And I just listen.
All right, no problem. With that said, let's go to Buana. Buana, what say you? Why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men?
I don't know the answer to that question. I would only say that.
Buana, your volume is super low for some reason.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me switch out the microphones. Give me 1 second.
All right, while Buana is doing that, let me read some comments from the chat. Like, I can't stand the silence. KW7 says the best thing Obama can do is go back to one of his multi-million-dollar mansions.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Shout out to Jigan. Yeah, we can hear you. Just 1 second. Shout out to Jigan. He says, what if Trump wins the popular vote, but Cam or Kamala wins the electoral college vote, and I'm here for the fallout? But Bakari's out there saying peace and black African power. I'm going to say Black Seal comment for just a second. Trigger IB262 Plus is out there. He says the political irresponsibility of electoral politics is that the grandstanding and messaging isn't the only issue. This is done every 4 years only. No organizational progress. With that said, let's hear from Buana. Buana, what say you?
Yeah. Koku, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm looking at this as an outsider. Let me just first and foremost say that I have no dogs in the race. As a political scientist kind of person, I look at it from that perspective. Okay, let me just first put that out there. And the way I see this is Obama doesn't have to lecture anyone. If he is talking to grown men and the numbers are down in that area, you get in the questioning position. Why do you think that there are so many low numbers in this particular area? You need to start asking black men what they actually need. I listen to their gripe, it seems to be, is the men say that the Democratic Party doesn't necessarily want to. Problem. You need to explain to people certain things. You need to tell the black men, hey, this is what we're gonna do for you in particular, because the black women are ready to know what they're gonna do for them. The homosexual community are ready to know what they're gonna do for them. The Jewish community are ready to know what they're gonna do for them specifically. So you can't.
Is it me or Buana cutting up?
Yeah, he's cutting out.
I was going to ask the same thing.
So the gripe is, what are you going to do?
Buana, you're cutting out.
Black men.
Buana, you're cutting out.
And I think that the
Wanda, can you hear us? Because
horrible
you're
job
cutting
in
out.
expressing
I don't know if you can hear
Yeah,
us.
this is
I
why
don't
they
know.
yeah, Buana's on a delay. He's cutting out. Buana, we're gonna have to come back to you, brother. You should probably go out and come back in because your sound is not good.
back my computer.
Let me do that real quick.
I mean, I got further comments, and so he gets stuff situated unless you have something on plan, Coco.
Go ahead.
Someone in the chat. Okay. Someone said in the chat that if Kamala Harris loses the popular vote and Trump gets the popular vote and Kamala gets the electoral college vote, that's something that hasn't been done in that dynamic. It's not gonna happen. It's not something that's feasible because Trump has never ever won the popular vote. Trump has always been numbers wise always unpopular. Trump won the electoral college and he lost the popular vote. It should have been Hillary Clinton instead of him, unfortunately. I mean, hindsight, I would like to be Hillary Clinton, even though she's a whole set of issues, but I mean, nothing like that. So when you think electorally speaking, the last presidents that won the electoral college vote were all Republicans, right? Everyone that won the popular vote, Obama won the popular vote. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Um, 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 Clinton won the popular vote. The people who got the electoral college was George Bush Jr. and was it Reagan? I don't think it was Reagan. I think it might have been Reagan, but it was Reagan. I think it was Reagan, George Bush Jr. and Trump won the electoral college because they were never popular in that regard. And as far as Kamala, being, how shall I put it? Her being like falling in the polls from what I've seen, unless it's like a swing state, she's leading. So I don't really see that dynamic. How is it going to be a tight race? Don't get me wrong. It's going to be some of a tight race as far as like a margin. I believe in the probably like a couple thousand of votes, but so far, Kamala is leading in that regard. I don't know, is Juana situated yet?
No, Buana, it's gonna take Buana a minute. So I'm gonna go to Black Steel if you're done with
Cool.
your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So with that said, should be something to one. Why does Obama feel the need to lecture black men? First, let's welcome in Black Steel. Black Steel, how are you this week?
Man, it's been a crazy week, man. Been a crazy week. The hurricane this week. It was crazy. People died. Neighborhoods flooded out. A lot of us don't have power still. But I'm good though. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thanks for coming through tonight, and thanks for going through last night on that panel with Kofi and them.
It was a joy to do it. I enjoyed it. So let me just say, I'm disappointed in some of the ideas that Obama was the best president we've ever had. That's very disturbing to me. It's so upsetting to see how this man has retarded our consciousness so much. The man's an international war criminal. He should be, if there was any justice in this world, he'd be in front of the Hague for what he did to Libya, for what he did to Anwar el-Awlaki, how he literally murdered a U.S. citizen without trial. I'm sorry, he's scum of the earth. Just because he knows a few R&B songs, he has a nice cadence. He's still an international war criminal. If there was any justice, again, he'd be in front of the Hague. Period. For one thing, but as far as the overall point, I think something Oni said. She's polling very badly. Harris, is polling behind in the states necessary to win the electoral college. So, for those of you Americans don't win by the popular vote. You win by the electoral college, and you have to have 270 electoral college votes to win the presidency. Harris won't win without Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Michigan, of course, has the highest population of Arabs and Muslims. They're not voting for Harris. She's not going to win that state. So that's something else that's she's going to lose for that. So Harris, what they're doing is they're prepping us to blame somebody for her loss, right? So black men are the second most loyal demographic to the Democratic Party. Black women being the first, then it's black men. No other group of men votes more for the Democrats than black men. Not white men, not Asian men, not Latino men. No, black men vote more for Democrats than white women do. But yet we don't see these presidential candidates lecturing white women who voted 53% for Trump in the last election. So again, why are you alienating your most second loyal base? Is crazy to me. I believe they're positioning a fall guy, a scapegoat. Well, Harris didn't win because these black men were misogynistic. We're not worried about these white women being racist. We're not worried about these white men being racist. We're worried about the Latinos and these Asians. These Asians don't really vote that much. These Latino voters, that they're not going to vote for Harris. You know, it's so funny to me how you're positioning the whole idea of black men being misogynistic, and we just don't want to see a black woman in office when black men have support the white woman more than the white women did. When Hillary Clinton ran for president, she had more support from black men than she did from white women. Do we see people going after? Did we hear Hillary Clinton admonishing white women who need to get on and vote for me? No, we don't see that. We don't see that. But yet, at the same time, everything you see is that always black men not voting for. First of all, black people only make up 13% of the population. Black men, what, 6% of all black men? So even outside of some of the swing states like the Carolinas, like Georgia, we're not really gonna make up much of a difference. But the numbers of black men who are voting for Trump or who are more than likely going to abstain from the election, who are just not gonna vote at all, which I think is more likely than us voting Republican. You're gonna have a situation where a lot of people are just gonna stay home. So there's been several times when the president has the situation where they've lost the popular vote but still won the election, going back to 1824 with John Quincy Adams. Then you got 1876 Rutherford B. Hayes. Then you got 1888 Grover Cleveland. I'm sorry, Benjamin Harrison. And then you have in 2000 with George Bush lost the electoral, he lost the popular vote but won the electoral college. And finally, in 2016, Trump beat Hillary Clinton by winning the electoral college. And Hillary Clinton beat him by a landslide in the popular vote, by several million votes. And I do believe that we could see another situation like that. Kamala Harris could lose the electoral college and she could win the popular vote. And I do believe that's, especially with the way she's been polling in Michigan, she's going to have an uphill battle. She has to get these people on her side. And I'm sorry, blaming black people, black men for not wanting to support her because she's a woman isn't going to cut it. Nobody owes you a vote. You have to earn people's votes. And if people don't see that their benefits are reflected in your campaign, they're not going to vote for you. And no amount of shaming is going to do otherwise. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Black Sue. I think Buana is back. Buana, can you hear us?
Tighten up, Buana. Come on now.
I guess Buana's still having problems over there. Does anyone else want to add any last thoughts, I guess, to this prompt? In the chat, Jose said black men are the scapegoat in the black community, let alone in liberal spaces. KW Don 7 said Trump is best battering ram against Western hegemony on planet Earth. I don't know. That's an interesting take. Early he said, Kofi, you are watching too much CNN and MSNBC. Trump is getting a minimum of 300 electoral college votes. So I don't know if you wanted to speak to that or not.
Yeah, I would if you finish reading the comments.
I agree that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The sister Frenchie is out there in the chat. Frenchie, welcome to join us. You're here on time this week. You're welcome to join us at any time. Just click the link pinned to the top of the chat, and you can join us. Kofi, go ahead as we wait for Warren to come back.
On Black Steel, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You said something.
I agree with Trump winning. He's going to make 270. I do agree with that.
Okay. Now, my overall comment was to the initial comment that you said about her Kamala Harris. I guess the person in that comment may say, like, I guess the scenario of Kamala Harris losing the popular vote. I was speaking towards her winning the popular vote and how Republicans, especially Trump, has never won the popular vote. So I'm saying that scenario, that dynamic that they were presenting is not a likely thing to happen if based upon the metrics that I've seen, and especially based upon the metrics of the last election that the person is trying to say. I don't know if they're saying, scenario wise or what they think what it is on the ground, saying that Trump is more popular than Harris, so she get more votes, and I don't see that. I wasn't talking to the electoral aspect of it. So what Black Steel was saying is absolutely true. It could happen, like the whole Hillary Clinton on debacle. Well, not debacle. She just didn't have enough electoral college votes, but she won the popular vote. So Trump had more electoral college votes, so that's why he's president. He's not president because he won the popular vote, and I think some people they miss that. Right? Oh, he's president, person's president, so they must be popular. Like, no, we have to keep it real. So everything what Black Steel says, yes, it is true. She's gonna have, because I think in that state in Missouri has a high Muslim population. So, which is to me is like kind of like weird to me that she be losing the Muslim vote, because as far as like at least Kamala Harris is, I mean, she's a part of the Biden administration, and they think they're kind of doing a shit job by itself in a vacuum, yes. But what Trump is going to do? Trump is the one that kind of like was poking the bear, moving the embassy into Jerusalem, and saying like Netanyahu is not doing enough. He'll give Netanyahu everything that he wants. Him and Jared Kushner talking about making a Gaza Strip on beachfront property and all the other stuff. So Trump is going to just give Netanyahu whatever you want. At least the Biden administration is saying like, all right, to support Israel is an American foreign policy, but at least Biden's trying to say, okay, maybe we shouldn't just give them a blank check to get whatever you want. Okay, so they're using 10 10-ton bombs. Can you just use 3? That's what they're at least trying to do, and they're at least talking about Kamala Harris. I believe are saying we need to find a 2-state solution, which is like, okay, good luck. I mean, that's a better way to do it. I mean, I don't think the right wingers in Israel will allow that, but that is something to try versus going to Trump, which I don't understand why she will have a hard time in Missouri. But that's pretty much it.
So the thing about that is that, hey, I've already thrown your baby. The Democratic Party under Biden has already thrown the baby off the cliff, right? Republicans are saying we're going to throw the baby farther, right? We've already killed. So it's like we already dealing. Both parties are supporters of genocide. Let's just keep it a buck. All right.
Facts.
The only thing about it is that the Democrats give the lip service of, hey, 2-state solution. We want to limit the violence. Meanwhile, they write a blank check and send billions of dollars overseas to bomb children, while Americans suffer from climate change disasters. Whereas
our tax dollars.
Okay. Whereas the Republicans don't even pretend to do it. So I guess that's why Jill Stein is polling so highly among Muslim voters in the state of Michigan. But one thing is that the last Republican president to win the popular vote was George W. Bush back in 2004. So it's been almost 20 years since a Republican has won the popular vote in this country. Their policies are genuinely unpopular, which is why they have to resort to the fear mongering that they do. They have to resort to the immigrants and the threats and if you don't do this, you're gonna lose your country. If you don't do this, then your children are gonna wake up and they're gonna lose every right they have. And the space lasers from the Jews and the HARP weapons and all that other stuff. They have to do that because nothing else they have benefits people. Taxes on more tax cuts for the rich. How does that help your average white person in Appalachia who's dying from lung cancer because their grandfather worked in a coal mine? Who's going to bring those jobs back from overseas where they pay people 30 cents an hour versus working in America? The Republicans' interest is in the corporate. They benefit from these wealthy people shipping jobs overseas. They don't want to face that. So the only thing they have to offer these people is, hey, we hate the same people you do. Don't you hate them too? We all hate them together. Let's hate these blacks, these Mexicans. We hate them all. That's really what is the Republican Party is faced with as far as what they have to offer the voters. And really, unfortunately, that's all that's necessary. That's all that they really need. And I feel that to what Obama's talking about, those few black men who may tend to be conservative, they may be conservative for their own individual, needs, but many times they are disillusioned with the Democratic Party. The party doesn't really give a space for the needs of many in the community. Many black people are starting to feel that our votes are being taken for granted by the Democratic Party. But the Republicans are being so racist. I think it was something Frederick Douglass said way back in the 19th century. And he was talking about the Republicans when he said it. He said that the Republican Party is the ship. This is, after the Civil War when the Republicans were the party of Lincoln and emancipation. And he said the Republican Party is the ship and all else is the sea, right? But even in his time, right, if the Republican Party was the ship was full of holes and it's leaking. The ocean's trying to get in. And now you can reverse that. Many black people feel the Democrat Party is the ship and everything else is the sea. Everything else outside is against us. So all we have is this. But then at the same time, you got people who are on board the ship trying to throw you over. And the ship is full of holes, it's leaking water, and people are struggling. So where does that leave people? Some people rather jump into the ocean and learn how to swim. You have people who are tending to be more conservative. Other people rather just stay home and not vote at all, which I think is going to be the more likely conclusion.
Good discussion. Good discussion. KW7 says Harris's path to 270 is more difficult than Trump's. I see Buana's here, but we'll wait till we'll bring Buana in the next Shoot the Breeze topic. In fact, let's go to it now.